A couple of days ago, someone sent me the very funny Ben Affleck and Matt Damon Super Bowl halftime advert.
Sometimes it's really hard to be your friend. You said you were going to support me.
They said, look, you keep saying you won't do sponsored videos or brand deals, and yet here, even Hollywood superstars are doing it. Well, yes, they are in someone's advert, but you know what they didn't do? They didn't ask Robin Williams to turn to camera in the middle of Good Will Hunting and dish out a 10% discount code for a donut. Right, the fitness influencer problem. Actually, I'm going to rephrase it. It's my fitness influencer problem because other people do all this differently with great success, far more than I could ever dream of. All power to them. I just like doing it my way. It's not the right way or the wrong way, it's just how I like to do it. So let me explain why that is, especially for those who keep saying, Mark, just take the money, sign the deals. No one cares about the effect on the videos. Just take it. Take the money. Date night in our house can be quite stressful. So two things I avoid that I know many people starting YouTube can't wait to get. Sponsored videos, signing brand deals. Quick bit of history. September 2018, this channel goes live in a bid for me to win a bet with my 11-year-old that I wasn't too old and stupid to start a YouTube channel. December 2018, I hit 100 subscribers. And if that wasn't amazing enough, a company called Adventure Spec sent me a jacket because I'd made a couple of videos on some of their other gear that I already owned. A free jacket just before Christmas. Didn't have to pay for this, it just arrived. It is still one of my YouTube career highlights. So at this point, I'd spent about £2,000 on camera stuff, another couple of £1,000 on iMac and editing software, maybe another £1,000 on other bits and pieces. But I could tell my 11-year-old I was now an influencer getting freebies, and that was priceless. Wasn't priceless, cost me about £5,000, but don't forget the jacket was free. I didn't get anything else. And after 3 more years, I still had less subscribers than I now get each month. And by then I'd spent even more money on camera gear, but that was okay because I was now in glorious 4K and monetized. So regularly making about £5 on a good day from YouTube AdSense. That is the payment each month from Google based on how many people viewed the videos and the adverts that they stick on them. Then 2022 and things change, which is good because my kid is now 14 and had a Saturday job that paid him a lot more than £5. I was getting a little embarrassed, to be honest, but warm. I mean, so warm. So, a couple of companies offered to sponsor videos. Conveniently, one of them was Squarespace, website company. And I needed a website, so I had them chuck one of those in for free. I know how to negotiate. And they became a regular video sponsor. Although even then, I was unsure about it. People were watching with an interest in health and fitness, and then I'm subjecting them to 45 seconds on the benefits of purchasing a domain name. It felt less than ideal. So that first one, I took the Squarespace money, doubled it, gave it to charity to prove that we weren't just about making profits. As a result, that video has almost 600,000 views and still hasn't made a profit. This is not a guide of how to do YouTube. Despite all that, sponsored videos are one of the things I have least issue with. You'll have seen them, where your favourite creator stops the video they want you to watch and then starts plugging the product they're paid to sell for however long the contract they signed requires it to be.
Have you seen the updated website?
Who did you build it with?
I built it with Squarespace.
And the reason I don't mind them is that it's all very obvious. Someone's trying to sell you something, ignore it, skip it, or just turn it off.
Do you not have like Joe Rogan's got like an already made...
This is not the Joe Rogan podcast.
I can tell.
And people do just turn off, unless you can get Matt Damon to pop up and talk about virtual private networks. How'd you like them untraceable IP addresses? Views dip when you start talking about sponsors. But it's clear and transparent as you can get. And I did like Squarespace. In fact, I still use them now for my own website. I just have to pay them nowadays. In fact, I should probably negotiate it for it to be free a bit longer than 12 months. So when I see other people doing sponsored videos, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. But here's why, end of 2022, I decided not to do any more, despite the offer of lots of money to do many more. Way more money than we were making from YouTube. Sponsored video income was not the icing on our donut. It was our donut. My problem's this. I don't want to insert into the video I'm creating anything other than the content that goes towards making that video good. Plenty have told me, don't worry, take the money, stick the sponsored stuff in, we don't care. I understand that. I know many people say they don't mind. But there is not a single person in their right mind who said it makes a video better. And if you've actually seen a sponsored video segment that did improve the video that you were watching, that's great, but I can't do that. I'm not skillful enough to make an advert without Matt better than the content it is shoehorned into. I'm not even sure I want that skill. I like my videos to have a start, a middle, and an end. A story being told. I'm probably not always successful in achieving that, but when I sit down to create a video, that's what I aim for. Slotting in 45 seconds of something unrelated to that does not make things better. The same as a painter might not want to slap a McDonald's logo in the corner of the canvas. And no matter what you think of that person's painting, anyone can see why they'd not want to add to it like that.
All right, I'm gonna whack off again. Just beat it like it owes you money.
And then you have the perhaps less transparent situation of products or brands not featuring in a specific slot within the video, but rather infiltrating a little more subtly. I was quite lucky in that the first company to reach out to me to do a proper deal like that was Athletic Greens. Now, I don't know if they have an entire department designed to scour the internet for up-and-coming influencers to pounce upon, and I certainly don't know if it's called the fresh meat department if they do, but if it is, it definitely is, then it might be. I say I was lucky because I received their sexy little influencer goodie box, got very excited that I was deemed worthy, and then looked up the cost for people to buy the product and immediately decided that just seemed really expensive. It certainly wasn't something that I'd pay for. And if that's the case, how can I encourage others to? Around the same time, I was making a couple of videos on my Garmin and Apple Watch and Whoop strap. And because those were things I simply walked into a shop and bought, I was just able to say what I thought about them.
2 weeks with the Whoop strap was all it took.
And that was the nail in the coffin. I decided I would not sign agreements with third parties. If a product got spoken about in my videos, it would just be down to what I wanted to say, if anything at all.
Gonna need that for the rest of the video though.
This isn't a product review channel anyway. Products normally only crop up when it's something I just happen to have bought because I fancied having it. Does that mean you should feel free to confidently buy things I say I like? No, I might like something for the most ridiculous reasons, and you could end up wearing a massive great big Garmin watch just because I think it looks like something that Arnold would have had on in the 80s. That said, you won't end up with it just because Garmin paid me to tell you to end up with it. Although I don't know which is better or worse. I do know that only one's an excuse for a Predator clip. And so that's really all this comes down to. Everything you see in one of my videos here, you're seeing because I wanted to include it in the video because it struck me as something that would make the video better. And that's the type of content I want to make. At this time, maybe one day somebody will give me a huge amount of money and a huge amount of freedom, allowing me to actually make something good for them that I might be happy to make. 45 seconds on website e-commerce solutions in return for a few £100 and not a Matt Damon in sight is not it.
E-commerce solutions. Do you think Squarespace would do that too?
No, surely not.
They would, you know.
And it's really important that I point out here, there is no reason to do YouTube videos like me. If you enjoy watching other YouTubers that do it differently, that's amazing. I am all for people watching stuff they enjoy. Also, lots of people, especially smaller content makers in the fitness world, are really only doing videos as a means of promoting what they actually regard as their main product. So maybe personal training or online programs or supplements they sell, whatever. They aren't sitting down to edit together footage worrying about setup, conflict, resolution, storytelling structure, because they have no need or desire to. And even though they aren't, they might still be more successful than someone like me. And that's great. Good luck to them. This has nothing to do with my way being better. It's just better for me. It's about hitting upload and being happy with what I made.
Would you look at that?
And I should wrap up with a couple of points that people might otherwise raise. I fully appreciate some people taking sponsored video money and brand deals do so because it's the only way they're able to afford to make YouTube videos. They wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. Because until you have a pretty significant number of views on every video, the Google AdSense revenue is just not great. So good. They should take those deals if it keeps them going. That is exactly why we have a Patreon channel. YouTube money alone for smaller channels is just not enough to justify remotely the time spent on it. Even more so, there's a couple of you doing it together. Patreon doesn't make a lot of money, so it doesn't make sponsorship levels of money, but it does allow people who are really liking what we do to help us do the YouTube the way we want to do it. So thank you to them. Also, some YouTubers just want to do the deals whether they need to or not. Again, good, take the deals. That's a solid business plan. My business plan is to hope views here grow to a level where AdSense does pay the bills before my savings run out. And lastly, when it comes to companies producing stuff that we use anyway and we like, we're not mad enough to turn down freebies that they offer with no obligation. So stuff like the vitamin tablets that I take or the sports gels that I use on long runs, that stuff I've always bought and would buy from those companies anyway. If they see that and say, here, have some more, we tell them, that's very generous, don't expect us to do anything in return beyond what we already do, which is, if we're using something, we like it, we might mention it. Some of those things even end up on our website with discount codes and stuff that you can benefit from. But they sit alongside other things on there that I use from companies who have not got a clue who I am. It's just a list of stuff I like. The same happens if we go somewhere like Bracknell Athletics Track to film something, which we paid to hire many times. And then one day we told them what we were doing and they said, well, mention us and you don't need to hire it. In contrast, some other tracks, which shall remain nameless, do make us pay, even if we turn up with little children. Not even a discount. All that seems like a sensible balance to strike that doesn't affect the content that I make. And no, we never go out of our way to mention a product that we use in the hope that the company will then give us freebies at a later date. But I do drive a BMW car and ride a BMW motorbike. And both of those vehicles are incredible and I like them very much. They're made by BMW. They're lovely people, as are Kawasaki. So I hope that explains it to anyone that cares about it. It doesn't mean you can trust everything I say. No, I might just be plain old wrong about stuff, and I often probably am. But if I am wrong, it's just because I'm wrong and stupid. It's not because I've been paid by someone to be wrong and stupid. There you go. Not a sob story. I don't have a GoFundMe page to cover my BMW servicing costs. And this is certainly not to say that anybody doing things the complete opposite to me is in any way wrong. In fact, what they're doing is probably making far more sense. It is just to explain to people why we do it the way we do it, why we have the Patreon channel, and to emphasize that it is, at the end of the day, just really about me being happy and content and ideally proud of something that I've produced for you to see. Oh, and Cardio Dolphin. Cardio Dolphin isn't a brand deal. Cardio Dolphin is my brand. It only exists for two reasons. Firstly, I thought it'd be really fun to have my own merchandise. And secondly, my kid bet me I would never have my own merchandise. Zero profits, lots of work. I've really got to stop betting with my kid.